indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, duly called and held on the 10th day of February 2014 at 7:30 p.m. in the Trustees' Room, 2nd floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, and public notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meetings Law.
Whereas members of this board present at the meeting have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting of January 13th, 2014. Now therefore be it resolved that this board approves the minutes as entered in official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have one nay vote. Reports.
We have the fire department report for the month of December 2013 and the annual report. The month of December there were a grand total of 129 calls. Rescue and AMS were 98, 4 fires, 8 good intent calls, 16 false alarms and false calls, 1 hazardous condition. The annual report, if anybody'd like to review that, they're available in my office. But there were a total of 1,712 total calls and 1,276 rescue and EMS. The second report is the justice report for the month of January 2014. Total amount of fines and parking tickets collected, $16,500. 18 vehicle and traffic, criminal cases 25, village ordinances 12, 4 civil cases, and 3 ABC laws for a total number of cases of 125. The third report is the police department report for the month of January 2014. 899 incidences were reported, 26 accidents, 60 arrests, vehicle and traffic of 71, and 87 parking tickets issued. That's it for the reports.
How about correspondence?
Correspondence was received from Catherine Savarisi, Music Industry Club President, Life is Art, at SUNY Fredonia, requesting permission to use the East and West Barker Common and the gazebo on Saturday, April 12, 2014, from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., and the closing of Church Street between Day Street and Park for the 5th Annual Life is Art Festival.
Be it resolved that the permission is hereby granted to Catherine Service, Music Industry Club, Life is Art at SUNY Fredonia to use East and West Barker Common and the gazebo for the 5th Annual Life is Art Festival on Saturday, April 12, 2014 from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and that the Church Street between Day Street and Park Place to be closed for the performers, and be further resolved the above use of Barker Common and the gazebo subject to the direction of the police department, and be further resolved that the resolution is subject to the receipt of a certificate of insurance naming the Village of Fredonia as additional insured in the amount of $1 million.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the J.S. Lambert Hook and Ladder Company to add the name of Joshua Zerkansky to the active rolls effective immediately.
Be resolved the name of Josh Zerkansky, Chestnut Street, Fredonia is hereby added to the active rolls of the J.S. Lambert Hook and Ladder Company effective immediately.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Welcome aboard, Josh.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the Fire Police Company Incorporated to add the name of Jeff Knoop to the active rolls effective immediately.
Be it resolved that the name of Jeff Knoop, 35 Center Street, Fredonia, is hereby added to the active rolls of the Fire Police Company Incorporated, effective immediately.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome on board, Jeff.
Correspondence was received from Mary Butcher, Secretary on behalf of the First United Methodist Church of Fredonia, requesting permission to use Barker Common and the gazebo on April 20th, 2014 for an Easter sunrise worship service.
Be it resolved that the request from Mary E. Butcher, Secretary on behalf of First United Methodist Church
of Fredonia to use West Barker Common and the gazebo on April 20, 2014, from 6 a.m. until 7:15 a.m. for an Easter sunrise worship service is hereby approved, subject to the direction of the police department and the village receiving a certificate of insurance of at least $1 million, naming the village as an additional insured, which the village has received.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Now is the time for public portion. If anyone would like to address this board at this time, please state your name. Seeing no one. Resolutions.
The attached bond resolution authorizing, subject to progressive referendum, the purchase of various trucks for the Department of Public Works in and for the Village of Fredonia, Chautauqua County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $160,000, and authorize the issuance of $160,000 serial bonds of said village to pay the cost thereof. And a
Second.
copy of the bond resolution is in the clerk's office downstairs.
And there was a second?
Second.
Is that roll call? And a roll call vote. Mrs. Subject.
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman.
Nay.
Mr. Siri.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
I have 3 yeas, 1 nay, defeated. Need a third of a vote.
So we did.
Oh, we have 3 affirmative votes?
We got 75% of the board.
So you need the
Yeah,
fourth.
we got 75% of the board present.
The full voting strength of the board is 5.
Yeah, you got 3/5. You got 3/5.
Oh, you do have 3/5. You have 3 votes?
Either got 3/4
Oh.
or you got 3/5. Either way, you got to pass.
Let me double check something downstairs in the local finance law.
Okay,
Okay,
'Cause
so
we
just
do-
hold on that and
okay,
double check.
okay,
I'll
because
be right back.
you're right, we do have 3/5. Okay.
60%.
Yeah, that's 60%.
Right.
Or if it's the voting, the people voting, it's 75%
Right.
that we have, so.
Okay. The next resolution.
The attached bond resolution authorizing, subject to permissive referendum, the reconstruction of the roof at the wastewater treatment plant in and for the Village of Fredonia, Chautauqua County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $75,000, and authorizing the issuance of a $75,000 serial bonds of said village to pay the cost thereof.
Okay, and again.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Mrs. Subject.
Yay, yes.
Mr. Ruckman.
Aye.
Mr. Siri.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
And the third bond.
The attached bond resolution authorizing, subject to permissive referendum, the replacement of valves and the reconstruction of a roof at the water treatment plant facilities in and for the Village of Fredonia, Chautauqua County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $70,000, and authorizing the insurance of $70,000 serial bonds of said village to pay the cost therefor.
Mr. Ruckman.
Second.
Roll call vote. Mrs. Subject.
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman.
Aye.
Mr. Siri.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
Okay. And it's back to you, Mr. Siri.
Whereas the village board has reviewed the application of Sergeant Brian Johnson dated January 13, 2014, requesting benefits from general municipal law, section 207C, for an incident occurred on January 12, 2014. Now therefore, be it resolved that after review of the claim, the board has determined that Sergeant Johnson did incur a performance duty injury within the meaning of the section 207C of the general municipal law, and therefore this claim is hereby granted.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Be it resolved that the regular and overtime payrolls of the various village departments and bills approved by the Finance Committee and set forth in abstract number 449 are hereby approved and directed paid.
Oh,
Second.
okay, thank you,
I'll be
Mrs. Jones.
McKay.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Whereas the lease agreement between the 1891 Fredonia Opera House, Inc. and the Village of Fredonia, the village has expired, and whereas the Opera House in the village desires to renew said lease as amended by the additional 5-year term, now therefore be it resolved that the lease agreement between the Village of Fredonia and the 1891 Opera House, Inc., dated September 30th, 1997, and as amended by renewal of lease and amendment thereto dated August 1st, 2008, is hereby renewed for a 5-year term commencing as of February 1st, 2014, and ending January 31st, 2019, under the same terms and conditions as set forth in the September 30th, 1997 lease agreement as amended by the said amendment date August 1st, 2008, and be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign the lease renewal on behalf of the Village of Fredonia for a 5-year term as set forth in this resolution.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. And we have one more.
Okay. I didn't know if Sam was going to say something. Whereas the County of Chautauqua has notified the Village of Fredonia of assistance to addressing derelict structures with the village, and whereas the county assistance to the village is briefly outlined as follows. 1. Waiver of landfill tipping fees for construction and demolition waste. 2. The use of the Chautauqua County Sanitary Code to assist in identifying and holding responsible parties liable of the expense and remediation problems properties. 3, where applicable, the county will assist in obtaining title through tax foreclosures when needed by the village to advance the village funding awards, and utilize as appropriate the county land bank in connections with potential resales and redevelopment of project properties. 4, provide assistance in support of grant application and funding request, and whereas the county has approved said amendment to the Shared Highway Service Agreement by its Resolution 239-13, adopted December 1, 2012. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Shared Highway Service Agreement with the county adopted by this board on April 23rd, 27, and which was in effect as of July 1st, 2013, is hereby amended to include the provisions set forth in the attached Shared Highway Services Addendum and Appendix A, and be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign said addendum on behalf of the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Back to the bonds. The one read by Mr. Siri and seconded by Mrs. Subject. The attached bond resolution authorizing subject to permissive referendum the purchase of various trucks for the Department of Public Works and for the Village of Fredonia, Chautauqua County, New York, at the maximum estimated cost of $160,000, and authorizing the insurance of $160,000 serial bonds of said village to pay the cost thereof. We had 3 yes votes, 1 nay vote. It's a 3/5 vote that we need. We had 3.
Because there's still a second bite of the apple, so to speak. It still
Right.
could go up to a permissive referendum. When there's a referendum that could be called, then the 3/5 vote rule applies.
Okay, so it's passed.
That's the way I read it, yep.
Okay.
So it's passed.
It passed.
Jack, could you just get the exact numbers for when we go to the next level?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
because I don't know what it is.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mrs. Jones.
I make a motion that we adjourn for this evening.
I'll second that.
All in favor,
Motion.
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.